4 years. I'm currently the president of the Granada Gardens Tenant Association. I want to thank all of you for coming out to put in play and to publicize the deplorable living conditions that the residents are subject here. I want to, we will give the opportunity for some of all the residents who want to speak to talk. It is important that you understand the problems that we are confronted with. Back in October, the holder of the mortgage, Fannie Mae, went to court and requested that the property would be put under the guidance of a receivership. The judge granted this motion, and, but then the managers went back to court and asked that it would be stayed for a certain period of time. Then, once the new receivers came in November, we noticed a remarkable improvement in this property from November to February. We have received commitments from the new receiver company to make a number of improvements, such as to higher security, to correct the lights around all of the buildings that creates a dangerous situation for people at night. They were also going to have money aside for immediate repairs for the elevators and also for long term. As I look at it, the things that we are really concerned about is safety. Under safety, we would include the lack of the need to have a security force to patrol the property at all times. A big problem is when I look across the street where I live, the J building, after about 9 o'clock, all the lights will go out, and so that anybody coming to the building at night are confronted with a dangerous situation because it's too dark. On Resurrection Sunday, April 31st, a lady was robbed at gunpoint as she entered her building. If you look at all of these buildings, at least 3 doors are left unlocked at all times, which create a situation where people know that they can come into the building at any time. The elevators, we're told they must maintain one at all times, but there are times when that one elevator is broken down and people have to move in and move out. We have some of our neighbors here who want to talk to you about some of their individual situations, how these living conditions have impacted on them in a very negative way. I want to call first on Robert Ingram to talk about his experience. Robert?
Well, I just hold that thought real quick. We're going to de-mic you. Do this little dance here. That one's yours. You just want to throw that in the pocket, sir? Actually, I'm just going to clip it.
Here you go. It's just going to go right in your pocket.
Oh, see if I can get it in there.
Thank you.
Say and spell out your first and last name for us.
Robert Ingram, R-O-B-E-R-T, Ingram, I-N-G-R-A-M.
Go ahead and tell us about your experience.
Well, since I've been here, the people that have it now don't do hardly anything here right now. Some of the apartments don't have hot water again. I had fell and got a head concussion and nerve damage right after these people took it back over. And my niece goes to work at 9 o'clock at night, and the lights all go out at about 8 o'clock. So, it's dangerous for her to go to work. And, the trash containers stay full all the time. A lot of the people just throw the trash into the things, don't put them in the containers. So it's not, that part ain't all their fault. But they have nobody here on weekends to do the trash. And, it's just the roof leaks, and it's just getting bad. Thank you.
us a little more detail on that injury you mentioned? When exactly did that happen, and what happened?
The week they took it back, 2 weeks ago Tuesday.
Okay.
I let my niece asked me to take the car out and park it 'cause she's bringing my sister in because she has cancer. And when I was coming back, I slipped in the ice and busted my head and injured my back.
I do have video of him trying to get out.
This my niece,
She's already fallen twice.
my sister.
She was so wanting to make
But I can't, I just, I'm 70 years old and can't afford any more injuries.
And did you talk with management here about?
I have tried to go over there and there's never anybody there.
There is no
There's no management here yet. They tell you, we just work here, management ain't here, is all they ever tell you.
And when when the old management company was here, there were people in the offices consistently.
Oh, yeah. The ladies are over there are always there. They're nice ladies, but they can't do nothing without the management telling them what to do.
As a tenant who lives here, how does that make you feel when not only issues are happening, but there's nobody to tell what's going on?
Bad. I mean, it's like, well, the security wasn't no good here anyway. They weren't allowed to come in the building. They just rode around, so we need them inside because we got kids coming from other apartments, shooting fire extinguishers off, smoking weed in the corridors, and we're trying to put a stop to that. We got doors that don't lock, that are broke. Been 7 months now we've been trying to get fixed, and we'll get to it when we can. It's all we're ever told.
And when this management company had the building the first time around, were these the exact same issues that
Same
come
issues.
back again?
Same issues. Nothing's gonna get better.
Must be frustrating.
Yes, sir, it is. I moved up here just to help my niece and my sister, to help take care of my sister. I'm from Alabama. So I've been up here.
The service is terrible.
Mhm.
It really is.
It-
My brother and I have lived here for like 8 years, and we've seen at least 3 property managers that have changed hands. And every time they change hands, the situation gets worse.
Except for the last one we had.
We're dealing with a bunch of figureheads that really don't want to try to do anything productive. You call the leasing office, if you get somebody on the phone and you tell them about your concerns, oh, okay, we'll take care of it. And it's like a recorded message. We'll take care of it, but nothing happens.
Or they'll
You
say,
know,
we'll get to it when
we
we
had
can.
this high snowstorm, a few weeks ago, and there was no tow trucks to come out and remove the snow. What happened was the cars started going through the parking lot and leveling off the snow. We had one gentleman, I don't know who he is, that broke 3 different bones
In his leg,
in his body because he slipped
on the ice.
on the ice.
And
So
ultimately,
now all of a sudden, you wanna clean up the walkway because you know that this person might sue the company. But even if he does, even if he does or doesn't, he still has a right to do that. But we should not have to go through everything we're going through right now to get satisfaction. You know, we are hardworking people. We pay our rent. And some people don't pay their rent, but I don't have nothing to do with that. I pay my rent, my brother and I, to live in a safe and clean environment. So why should I keep on paying my rent to a company that really doesn't care anything about me? But because the procedure is so long to put rent in escrow, I'm just not ready to do that. I need you to do something right now before I have to go through a 30-day process to go to Bedford Court and put my money in escrow. I should not have to do that. Take care of the property. It's a lot of us that pay our rent. Show of hands will tell you.
Yeah.
We pay our rent.
We're going to have
But
Catherine
we just
Donnelly
need
from
some satisfaction right now.
we're going to have Catherine Donnelly from Legal Aid just share a little bit about the legal process and what our tenants are.
1 second. Let me
I
grab
think
this
you
mic.
get this stuff.
Thank you, sir.
I'm glad she spoke up when she did.
I'm just gonna throw. Who's speaking?
Catherine.
Okay, Catherine. I'll have you throw this in the pocket for me. If you just want to throw it in the coat pocket, I think I'll go. Oh yeah, that'll be perfect. Go underneath here.
So we can reach computer.
Throw this underneath this thing.
I'm shocked when I walk down here and saw this floor shining.
So we're going to have
And if you want to step
Catherine share a few words, and then anyone who is able and interested to show any of our media friends an example, a legal aid staff member can come with you so they can, if they want to interview you and see an example. Okay? So Catherine?
I would like to speak about the elevator issue. I don't know if it was brought up.
Oh, in a minute. Yeah, let her talk and then we'll
Okay.
talk about it.
Can you just start by saying and spelling your first and last name
Yeah.
for me and give me your title?
Catherine Donnelly, Catherine Donnelly. I'm a senior attorney in community engagement at the Legal Aid Society of Cleveland. And I have been working with the Granada Gardens Tenant Association since April of 2022, since the current current ownership under a gentleman named Baruch Drillman acquired the company. Granada Apartments Limited is the owner, the landlord, and responsible for maintaining these buildings regardless of who the management company is. And so we have been working with the Tenants Association to advocate for making changes around here, reaching whoever we can to try to get management and get the landlord to take responsibility for the conditions. We've been through the Tenant Association recently in November filed a motion to intervene in a foreclosure case. The property was foreclosed on by the lender Fannie Mae on October 27th, October 17th, and a receiver was appointed. And the management company that everybody has been talking about as having slowly been making changes came in because the court appointed a receiver in the foreclosure case. The receiver was slowly making some changes and some promises that looked real for once. On February 7th, the appeals court granted an emergency stay, emergency after 4 months. that ended the receivership, and the property returned to the old management, to the control of Granada Apartments Limited, and that is what spurred the tenant association to call for action today. And we are supporting them in taking whatever steps they need to do, follow their legal strategies to hold the landlord accountable.
I'm sorry, can you explain a little bit about this receivership? When the property was put into receivership, was it still owned by Granada Apartments, or was it the management company that was switched out during that time?
It was still owned by Granada Apartments Limited, but under the receivership order, the owner had no right to control the property or collect rent. That became the responsibility of the receiver, John Rothschild.
So in the notes posted in other buildings, it said that Carlisle Management, the company that's currently managing, they lost control of management. It was given to, forgive me if I'm pronouncing this wrong, Goldaller. But they lost that, like you mentioned, and now it's Carlisle. Why did the court give it back to a management company that had failed in the past?
I can't answer that question for you. There was the decision was made by the appeals court. The trial court, after a hearing where some of the tenant association leaders were present, denied a stay to the owner, Granada Apartments Limited, and the owner appealed to the 8th District, and it was the 8th District who granted the stay finally on February 7th. And it's a one-sentence decision. Simply says that the motion is granted. So that's all that we know about why the court made that decision.
I imagine that they put a receivership in place initially because of a bunch of violations that weren't being addressed. Do you know some off the top of your head, some of the major violations that triggered that receivership initially?
Yeah, so the receivership was put into place because the lender asked for it, and that's the easiest way under Ohio law to get a receiver in place is if the lender asks for it under their mortgage. But the lender, Fannie Mae, asked for the receiver and brought the foreclosure case not because the owner wasn't paying their mortgage, but because they weren't maintaining the properties. And so it was conditions. Fannie Mae was not aware of the depth of conditions that the tenant association has talked about. But some of the conditions that were mentioned were failing balconies and masonry around the property, and internal issues. And these simply, they weren't addressed. Roofing, I believe, was one of the items that was mentioned. And you could see the drip coming down still. So Fannie Mae saw at least, they saw the external issues, and those were already enough that they felt that there was a default of the mortgage.
Do you know, was the court instructing now that Carlisle is back in control, did they instruct them of, hey, these are violations that were here when you were under control that we're trying to make sure that you're staying on top of, or something like that? Was there anything that you know of like that they're supposed to be keeping tabs on?
There's nothing like that from the 8th District or from... There's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff that the court could be addressing, but right now there's an appeal pending. There's an appeal pending, and so that's not the trial court isn't acting. Warrensville Heights, the city of Warrensville Heights, is prosecuting the owner for code enforcement violations. So that is happening, and that hopefully is some accountability. But I think the tenants are looking for something more aggressive.
What's kind of the next step?
Last question, then we're going to do individual visits.
What's the next step as far as, so now you're speaking up, you're holding this event, but as far as the legal side of things, are you guys taking anything to court to try and hold Carlisle accountable in the more immediate? Because I understand the owner is being held, or the city is pursuing stuff with the owner. Are you guys pursuing stuff with management here that can maybe change things in the more immediate?
So I want to say, I don't know that Carlisle is the name of the management company that's working over there. The last time that I checked in, none of the tenants had received a formal notice about who they're supposed to pay rent to
I'm just
in
going
March.
off of the notices
Yeah.
that were posted in building 4421 as of last week.
Yeah, understood. But I can't say for sure that it's Carlisle. So we're focused on Granada Apartments Limited. That's who's responsible. They own the property. They hire the management company. They are responsible. And I would say stay tuned for next steps for legal action for whether we're going to court. I stay tuned imminently.
All right, so I have a few individuals who are willing to chat.
Oh, did that come to you directly?
Let me know. And these apartments,
Roof and stuff at the next building over there. It's been there
why are you
since last
trying to
year.
cover
They
up?
were in order to have it fixed
Why
by
don't you
December
see
and never did.
the living
But it's
conditions
still stacked.
that we're going through?
Yeah, I'm just gonna take this
Oh,
back.
sorry.
Well, thank you. Put it on my reach.
Sorry.
Just about who the property man. Sorry, it sounds like what?
It's not on camera right now.
We're not.